How was work today?
Oh, it's just another day, another vagina.
3, 2, 1.
Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Another Day, Another Vagina, where we talk about everything women from A to the V. This is Jen.
And this is Natalie.
And today's letter is S. What does that stand for? Stripper?
Sure.
Stripping? Okay, we're going to go with stripper. Have you ever wanted to be a stripper?
Me, no.
Really?
Yeah. I'm too shy.
Oh, I've always wanted to be a stripper.
I can see you as a stripper.
You know, I'm tall enough, but not athletic at all. And I wasted my good stomach years.
And the good question is, are you good with music? Can you dance? Can you shake it?
You know, believe it or not, there was a rumor that I was attempting to dance on a pole the other day to Pony. It did not work out. But I've always been afraid of that world because I've always felt that it was dangerous.
Yeah, I didn't, I was definitely not a fan of it. I didn't think it was for me. I always thought it would be something that would be dangerous. Lots of drugs, alcohol.
Yeah, and maybe it's because of movies.
Possibly.
You know, I feel like us and a lot of our listeners, they don't know anything about stripping or the exotic dancing world. So guess what? We have a surprise guest with us today. And she is a former exotic dancer, and she's going to talk to us about the in and outs of it. So thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me. I love the podcast.
Oh, good. You're a fan. Oh, I didn't know you were a fan. That makes it even better. So I guess let's start with, how did you get into it?
Well, I wish I had a cute story, but honestly, I just wanted to make a lot of money.
Right. And I think, why would I want to be a stripper? Because I feel like they make a shitload of money. So how much money did you make?
On a weekday, or weeknight rather, you could probably make, for myself, I was making about $400 to $800. But a Friday, Saturday night, I'd be mad if I left without $1,000.
Good God,
Yeah,
could you imagine
then,
that?
If you have like a convention in town, you can make $2,000-$3,000 a night.
Like the furniture convention?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I got a lot of guys coming from out of town, away from their wives. They're going to spend some money.
So they buy wood and then have wood. Is that exactly?
Pretty much, yes.
Do you pay taxes?
Yeah. I had a really good accountant that could find ways for me to fandango the system and give back more. But I did try to be honest because I was always really afraid of getting in trouble with the IRS, even though everything that I received was cash. So.
Now, weren't there a lot of write-offs? Like, couldn't you do...
You could do, like, your outfits.
Shoes and things like that?
Shoes, yeah. You're going to have to buy a couple pairs of shoes because they do wear out. So, yeah, you could write off things like that. Hair, nails, eyelashes.
Wow. And fun fact, since you're a fan of the show, you know we love facts.
I know you love that.
Right.
Yeah.
Strippers can deduct breast implants as a business expense.
I did not know that.
Have you ever thought about going, or did you think about going the breast implants road?
A lot of my customers liked natural breasts, and that seemed to be working for me, so it wasn't really on my radar, honestly.
Actually, we're thinking about getting breast implants.
Are you?
Actually, yes.
Well,
What's it called? The mommy makeover, right?
So, do you think in our career that we can use it as a business expense?
I don't know. I think your scrubs and shoes is about the only thing you can write off.
I should try that with the accountant. Scrub, shoes, and boobs. So, when actually being a stripper is a really athletic thing. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like being a cheerleader.
It's very physical, yes.
So, how did you train? Did you practice there? Did you pick songs? How did you prepare?
Well, I started out working daytime, which was a little bit slower, so I was able to kind of watch other people and figure out little dance numbers and routines, and I learned pretty quickly you can't go up on stage and bust all your energy out on stage. Your real money is in selling the lap dances.
Oh.
So more on stage is like your advertisement time. And I had a lot of really excellent women there during daytime who kind of took me under their wings. Some of them gave me outfits and just kind of told me how to go about maintaining your energy throughout your shift, what songs to pick based upon what kind of customers you had in the room, and how to manage your time in a wise way. But it wasn't really formal training. It was more on-the-job training.
So did you get to pick your own songs?
Oh,
and
yes.
You had to come up with your own routines.
Yes, and you will kind of pick up you like that little dance move someone else did, and so you start incorporating that. And usually I try to pick songs that the clientele would like. Songs, 80s glam rock, classic rock, whereas a lot of girls, they wanted to dance to music that they liked, like Nelly and things like that.
So if you had a bunch of rednecks in there,
What song would you use?
Freebird.
Oh my God. Yes.
Yeah, but not the whole thing. It's like 6 minutes long.
If I was in there and you played Freebird, just me being from the country, Surrey County, I'm gonna shout out Surrey County. Inside my heart, I would feel the need to start making it rain.
Yes.
I would be dropping dollars.
There you go.
I have no clue what song you guys are talking about.
Girl, Leonard Skinner.
Yeah.
They don't have Leonard Skinner out in California.
Oh, goodness.
Okay, Natalie, what would be your song you would strip to?
Oh, I don't know.
Mine would be I Got Friends in Low Places.
Good one.
I feel like anybody who's in there would want to lap dance for that song.
Of course. I don't think I've ever heard it played at a strip club, so they're right there. You got a niche.
Everyone would stop their lunchtime buffet. Do they have buffets there for lunch? Because somebody told me they have buffets at the strip
Nowhere
club.
that I've worked had a buffet, but they did have an excellent menu and an excellent filet mignon.
No,
Yeah.
really?
Oh, yes, it was great. Every now and then you have a customer that just wants to have dinner with you there at the club, and I'd get a lot of free dinners, a lot of filet mignons.
Wow, so you just sat there and just talk to them and
Enough.
be their company.
Yeah.
Wow. And so speaking of customers one-on-one, did anyone ever try to have sex with you? Because I feel like
Oh, yeah.
you would get that.
Oh yeah, it's part of the job. Usually they're offering to pay, and when you say no, most of them are like, okay, fine. It may not affect your time within that evening. You can still make money off of them. But then every now and then you'll have one that's like, okay, $500. What about $1,000? $1,500? $2,000? And you're like, no, right? That's the answer, right? How long could he lap? No, I was way too afraid to get in trouble and like, oh, he's definitely an undercover cop or I'll get murdered. So I wasn't going to participate in anything like that.
So at what age did you start?
A couple days after I turned 18.
Okay.
Wow.
So I was fresh.
Wow.
And this was just to make quick money?
Yeah, and I was investing in mutual funds, trying to make my money make money for itself, So
Yeah. Well, that's smarter, honestly, than a lot of 18-year-olds are doing now.
yeah.
Do you get offered a 401k? I don't know why I'm asking so many money questions.
I was never under a 401k there. I didn't have any health benefits there. You're basically an independent contractor.
So was that, what, a 1099 or something?
I guess so.
You know what?
Yeah,
We
that'd
should
be
have got an
something.
accountant to come on here
Yes.
to the stripping show.
That would be excellent, yeah.
Oh my goodness. But so you mentioned undercover cop. Were there actually undercover cops there?
Oh, yes. Is it ALE, the Alcohol Licensing Board? Mm-hmm. Yes. So we were always afraid of them because if they come in there snooping around and something's going on that's not supposed to, they will pull your liquor license. And the management was terrified of that happening because it's really difficult to run a strip club without a liquor license.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
A lot of those places end up turning into all nude strip clubs, and it's a bring your own beer situation.
Oh, okay. We lost our liquor license, but hey, everybody's naked.
Yeah. Hey, we got this now.
Wow. Well, and What is your price? I feel like everybody's got a I would have sex with you price. What is yours?
I have never even thought about that.
Come on now. All right, if somebody said $1 million,
Of course, I'm not dumb.
5 minutes,
Gosh.
would your husband be upset or would he be on board?
I think he'd be on board.
I think mine would videotape it. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, $1 million.
He'd be like 2, and I'll videotape it and I'll send it to you. I don't know. How long could the sex last?
Yeah, they're usually pretty worked up when they're topping out thousands of dollars. So you're like, I mean, gosh, how
I
can
know.
they possibly last?
So
Half
you're
the work's
talking-
done.
You're talking $1 million to blow a load in a minute.
Yeah.
I feel like that's great money.
If you knew 100% it was safe, they're going to use a condom. You're not going to get murdered. I mean, I think everybody has a price.
And that's my next question for you. Did you ever feel unsafe while you were working?
We were pretty well taken care of there. The security always kept an eye out on us, and they could always fill out a room and figure out who might be a troublemaker. At the end of the night, they made sure that all the customers were out of the parking lot before they started walking us individually to our cars. And we were instructed, don't stop on your way home. Don't get gas. Make sure you have gas before you get to work. Go straight home, and you need to call us if you think someone's following you.
Oh.
So we were really well taken care of. There was cameras on all corners of that strip club. There wasn't any dark corner where you could get into and somebody would mess with you. But there were, of course, people who would occasionally grab your butt or grab your breast, and all you had to do was tell security that happened, because the rule is no touching the entertainers. The entertainers can touch you, but you do not touch them. And they would very quickly bounce them out of there if someone made you feel uncomfortable, even if they just said something that you found to be over the line. They were out of there.
Yeah. How many bouncers would you say would be working there on a Saturday?
On a Saturday, you might have 3 to 5, depending upon the season and if there was any kind of big event in town and you needed extra people. And you always had management that would step in also if something happened. And I've only seen a few fights. It's usually between 2 groups of customers. You might have 2 dancers that go at it, and every now and then you've got a dancer and a customer that get in an altercation. So,
Really?
oh yeah,
Wow. So the first strip club I ever went to was in Las Vegas. And I feel like that was a mistake. Because the strippers in Las Vegas were beautiful. They had perfect bodies. They had perfect teeth. They were great. And then I went to a strip club in Winston-Salem.
yeah.
And oh my God. Nobody had teeth. They all had stretch marks. I thought, what the hell? I could work here. You know? And I was like, so have you seen, when you were you working with more like the Las Vegas strippers or more like the Winston-Salem strippers?
It was a good mix, I'd say, of both. I was probably, honestly, on the higher end of the earnings scale, and I had maybe 2-3 girls who could give me some competition. But you had different levels of attractiveness, and that didn't necessarily mean they weren't going to make any money, because everybody's got a type, you know?
Yeah.
But I'd say it was a good mix. You had girls there who were beautiful and kept their nose clean and weren't doing drugs, were there to make money. Then you had girls who were there for the wrong reasons, that were there supporting a drug habit. Or they had started out dancing because they needed money, but then they needed to do drugs to do the job. So you have kind of a chicken and egg situation. What came first, the stripping or the drugs?
Yeah.
You know, so... you definitely have a couple troublemakers in there at any club, but I'd say overall we had a pretty good group that tentatively got along.
So would you say there are requirements at the locations you worked at?
She's looking for an application.
That would be a hard pass no.
They'll let you try out no matter what, but they will definitely turn you down if they don't feel like that you're going to bring clientele into the club, or they've got a lot of women with a similar look to you, if that makes any sense. I've seen girls try out that I thought, surely they're going to accept her, but for whatever reason they didn't, and I'm not really quite sure why. So
I had a patient, and she had gonorrhea. That's always a good story. I had a patient, she had gonorrhea. And when you have gonorrhea, you have to have an injection. And that injection has to go in the butt. Mm-hmm. And when I told her that was the plan, she got very upset because she's an exotic dancer. Mm-hmm. And she said, if I come in with a bruise, they're not going to let me work. Now, and I thought, that's the craziest thing I've ever heard. Is that something you think could have actually happened? They could have turned her away from working because she had a bruise?
Well, yeah, I definitely think so. Even if you have just like a pimple on your butt is more of an issue than a pimple on your face.
Really?
You don't want any kind of lesions in that vicinity. So you got to make sure that when you're shaving, you don't leave a lot of bumps, razor bumps, and you got to moisturize a whole lot down there because that's where a lot of folks are looking.
Wow, that's so interesting. So, you had mentioned the drug scene there. Did you feel like drugs could be really rampant? Were people bringing drugs into the club? Or was it just like you said, they felt like they had to have that high in order to perform?
Oh, there are drugs everywhere in the club. It was only a few weeks of me working. I was offered drugs for the first time in my life. I've heard some cocktail waitresses talking about the Candyman. The Candyman's here. And I was like, okay, this might be some good intel. I need to figure out what the deal is with this Candyman. So I find him up there in the VIP. I go over to him, and he says to me, would you like some candy? And I'm like, this checks out. He is the Candyman.
You were like, Werther's original. Yes, please.
And so he gets his pot in his pocket, and he brings out a handful of candy. Your bubble gum, little hard pieces of candy. And I didn't look too long. I just grabbed something. I wasn't even going to eat it because I don't take candy from strangers.
Right.
And so he kind of paused and looked down, and there was one little cellophane wrapped item that was solid white that I had not taken from his hand, and he assumed I was going to take. And he's like, don't you want this? And I thought, oh, well, that's cocaine.
Oh, okay.
And I said, no, but thank you for asking. Which is it was kind of a silly, polite thing to say.
Did you ever get to the point where you did try anything like that?
I could dance completely drug-free and alcohol-free, but there were plenty of women who might take a benzodiazepine like a Xanax, or take a few swigs of wine or something before they came in.
So basically what we do to podcast.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. Just to loosen you up a little bit.
Yeah, Xanax and a good glass of wine. Now we really need to put the thing on the end where we say it's not for professional advice.
Yes.
The Xanax and the wine. So actually, the average age for a stripper is 43.
That really surprises me, actually.
Did you feel like there was more of a younger population where you were?
I'd say I was under the impression about a third was that late teens, early 20s crowd. Then you have that mid-20s to 30 was a good third as well. And then on 30 up, you have a good amount of girls too. But I did know a few girls who were in their 40s and danced, and I had a pretty good friend who made really good money in her 40s.
Wow.
So there's still time.
All right, there's still time for you.
No, I'm good. I'll watch from the sideline.
So here's another fun fact that I know Natalie's going to particularly like. 62% of strippers are white. What do you think about that?
I don't know. I feel like it might be a little higher in some areas, just in my experience.
Where was that from? What area?
That was a statistic of the United States.
Oh, the United States. All right. Well, I do feel like that a lot of, maybe some places I worked, 90% were white.
Oh.
So,
I don't know what makes white people want to be strippers.
I'm not sure either.
Because, like, so Asian people was only 2% of the stripping market.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we see that a lot, that Asian Americans are low on the list of anything considered scandalizing. Mm-hmm. And usually white people are way up at the top of all that list. I think we just kind of got past what our families think, you know, about a lot of stuff. And I think there's other cultures that still care.
Yeah.
So
Very modest.
yeah. No. So what would you think about being a stripper as, you know, Hispanic or a Mexican American? Is that something you think you would see in your culture?
Oh, I'm sure. A lot of it's probably just hidden. I don't think it's spoke about because people are modest. I mean,
Yeah.
we really care about what people think. Obviously, I mean, that's why we're always having to dress and, you know, makeup, hair done. I mean, that's how I was raised. You don't leave the house unless you're ready.
I think some of the most beautiful women in the world are Hispanic.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, because, and they'll come in the office. I mean, they'll be dressed up. They'll have their hair done, their makeup done. They'll have breast implants.
Butt implants.
Oh, God, the butt implants from Miami. And I'll be in there with my hair up and this frumpy ass sweatshirt on, and I'm like rethinking my life. Why do I look like this and they look like that? Where did I go wrong?
I think it's just the way you were raised. I mean, my mom was very, not too, like, she didn't really stress your looks, but she always wanted you to feel your best. But I guarantee every time I would run into someone, like if I was just dressed with like sweats and a, you know, sweater, I'm just going to go to the store and get milk. I always ran into someone that I knew. I was like,
And that way it goes.
you know, and I'm like, damn, you know, there's many times I'd be with my husband and, you know, we'd be out and I'm looking just raggedy, with just hair in a bun, just jeans and a sweater. And it's like, hey, come meet us here. Nope, not going. But that's just because that's how I was raised. I mean, you care what you look like. Not to mention it makes you feel good about yourself. Mm-hmm. When you feel good about yourself, then you give off a better demeanor about yourself. You know, you stand up straight. You don't look frumpy.
Right.
And, you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
So why did you want to be a stripper when you were younger? Or do you still want to be a stripper?
I still want to be a stripper. And honestly, if this podcast doesn't work out, you know, we'll talk about where to meet me later. The money. Honestly, it was the money. And when I get my paycheck and I pay my bills like everybody else, and I say, well, shit, I can't go to McDonald's, I think to myself, I should be a stripper. But sometimes when you make big money, you have big bills. You know, it doesn't matter how much money you make, it's gone. But yeah, that is my dream, to make money, except for the fact that I'm awkward and I can't dance. Oh my God, I tried to give my husband a lap dance one time. It looked like I don't know.
I'm too shy. I can't even dance like I have to be drunk. Like, I couldn't imagine trying to dance and not being able to walk at the same time. And then, let alone put on heels. Forget it. That's a wrap. It's done.
Well, believe it or not, I've never stripped or lap danced for my husband because I actually care about what he thinks.
That's what I'm saying. I couldn't do it for my husband. He's
I
like,
don't
"Oh,
care
dance."
about
And
what
I'm
the strangers
nope.
think. I do care what he thinks, but not any of those clientele there. I didn't care what they thought
If
about
your
me.
husband's like mine, he's probably like, what the hell are you doing? Get out of the way of the TV. You know?
I think I tried one time and almost fell through the window on a second story apartment that we were living in. I was hammered coming back from a girls' night out, and I thought I was being cute, trying to take my clothes off, and there I went right into the window. My husband was like, "Great, you're gonna kill yourself," and I was like, "I was trying to be cute,
But I'm going to look good all the way down.
right?"
Exactly.
I do have one question. So, what is like the most weirdest encounter you've ever had from a customer? Like either randomness or like, have you had anyone that had just like a weird fetish that wanted you to do XYZ that you're like, I don't know if I can do that.
Like, let them suck your toes.
Yeah, like something like that.
What is it with men and feet? I don't
I
understand.
can't stand feet.
Oh, gosh.
I don't like feet.
Well, in the club, I'll have to kind of go over this a little bit. You can sell lap dances for $20 to $25 per song, or they can rent time with you, like 30 minutes to an hour in a private room. I had one guy, all he wanted to do was go back to the private room for an hour and rub my feet. I didn't have to dance. All I had to do was talk to him and get my feet rubbed, which my feet are hurting anyway. But
That's a bonus for you.
That sounds amazing.
yeah, exactly. And the first time, I'm like, dude, my feet are nasty and sweaty. There's probably toe jam down there.
But he was all about it.
He was like, girl, yes, give me them feet. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know what it is with men and feet.
Yeah.
I think feet are the grossest thing ever.
yeah.
No, I would be down for that. I would.
Those are few and far between, those easy ones.
I mean, there's got to be some other ones that are just way out there.
I'd be like, add another 100. You can rub my back.
Yeah.
Let's
Wash
just
your
do
hands
this.
first.
Yeah.
Wash your hands
There's
first.
always ones that want a little something extra that's against the rules. Like we would strip down to just your thong, and of course you always leave your shoes on. They wanted so badly to see my butthole.
Are you serious?
They're obsessed with buttholes. And they're like, I'll give you $100 if you just let me get a look at your butthole. Like, no.
But that doesn't surprise me. That does not surprise me.
It's never the front,
front,
they
they
want
want
to
the
see.
back.
They want to see the butthole.
Yeah. That's not surprising, though. I find a lot of men are fascinated with the butthole.
Uh-huh, yeah.
Don't know why. It's just like your feet. Why?
So we're eventually going to have a podcast about anal bleaching.
All right, yeah.
What? Look for that in the future. Have you ever done that?
I have.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
I
to do
don't
it.
know. I didn't feel like I saw that much of a difference. I don't know.
Did you go somewhere or did you do it
I
yourself?
did it myself. I'm very cheap.
You're getting the Walmart brand of anal bleaching.
That's right, yes.
Right, you got to go to Sally's for that shit. You got to get the professional grade
Maybe I'll
stuff.
try it again, but you have to make sure that back there is shaved very well. Everybody remembers the front. You forget about
The back.
There's hair also on your butt.
Never in my life have I shaved my butt.
It's very difficult to do.
They'll be like, forget the pole. Let's talk about how to shave the butt. Wow. And so, well, another thing I want to talk to you about, male strippers. So it seems like it doesn't matter if you're a doctor, a lawyer, a stripper. Men are always going to make more money, and male strippers make more money.
I don't know that many male strippers. There's not a huge market for them, so I was assuming that there was as much money to be made there. But I don't know. Maybe I need to have a talk with my husband.
California male strippers are big.
Really?
Really?
Have you ever been to a male review?
I have, and they're all gay.
Oh.
That's a sad part.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I went to one, and my friend paid for me to have the lap dance. And the guy grabbed me and, pulled me up onto his chest. The most amount of sweat I've ever seen on me. My face. You know in the movies when your face goes in slow motion down something?
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was. My hair was sticking up from the sweat. And my friends were like, oh my God, that was so great. Never again. I don't ever care to do that again. Stay on stage.
Not to mention their dicks are just massive.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that a
They use, a pump.
prerequisite? Oh,
Yeah.
oh, you can pump a penis?
You've never seen the penis pumper?
No, I never have.
Yes.
Now we have to have a podcast on pumping a penis.
Hello, it's on my husband's website.
Oh, yes. And that is twistmyfancy.com. We'll throw that out there. Stripping, like prostitution, okay, like a lot of things, has been around since the beginning of time. And when I was talking about this episode, getting it together, my dad decided he wanted to add in how he felt about it. And he told me, back in the 70s, they used to have strip shows at the fair, the county fair. And they would call them hoochie coochie shows. So him and his buddies, they paid $15, which was just an astronomical amount at that time. While their wives were riding rides and getting cotton candy, they were at the Hoochie Coochie Show. And so I said, really? How could anybody have that at the fair?
Yeah.
I mean, that blows my mind. Have you ever heard of anything like that before?
I mean, they used to have the freak show, which is at the county fairs.
You know, I never went in one of those. What was inside the freak show tent?
Freaks?
Was it naked people?
Oh, I don't know. I've never been inside one, but...
Okay, well, we'll go to the state fair, and we'll go in the freak show tent.
I don't think they have one anymore at the fairs.
Yeah, things have gotten where you can't do anything fun. That's how I feel like. So, so I guess to wrap this up, we were just wondering, what made you decide to leave?
Well, my family was not thrilled about it. Boyfriend was not a fan of it either, and decided to go ahead and hang up the stripper shoes.
And how old were you when you left?
I was still in early 20s. So it was before I started school to pursue my big girl career.
Yeah. So you went to college, and you make a decent amount of money now.
Yeah.
Would you say it's the same as your stripping money? Better? Worse?
No. Like 2 weeks of work is like one weekend night. So
Wow.
it's a little difficult to look at that paycheck and think, well, take me all 2 weeks to make this. I could have made it in one night, you know?
And I guess when you have a bad day at work, like when a customer's rude to you, you'd be like, bitch, I could be stripping right now.
Yeah, I don't have to do this.
Instead, I'm taking care of you. And I'm not making nearly as much money.
Any regrets?
Well,
Would you
I
go
wish
back and do it again?
I think about that all the time, but honestly, I think at this point, I would be considered a geriatric stripper. They'd have to like install like a handicap ramp to the stage for me.
Well, in our career, we call that advanced maternal age.
Okay, let's go with that one.
So we're going to call you the AMA stripper.
There we go.
All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Do you have questions or comments for our exotic dancer friend? Do you have any suggestions? Let us know.
Leave a comment.
All right. It's been nice hanging out with you. Bye.
Bye.
The information provided in this podcast is for informational and entertainment purposes and does not substitute for professional advice. Hey guys, if you enjoyed this podcast, please share with your friends and hit the follow button so you can keep up with our latest episodes. Thanks.